Welcome to the yard. If you see a long video, don't worry, you don't have to watch it. It means I've already put in much more time shooting clips of all this stuff, making photos, listing it out. This is for the people who want to see live demo. Sometimes I think of things in a natural way that don't come across when I write it all out. So here we are. The first step is optional. I hope you never need it. A floss band is something I like to have. Funny enough, when I keep them, I tend to have better luck. My last injury of any kind was 4.5 years ago, wearing typical basketball shoes, jumping high, landing on my buddy's foot who's 6'8", also wearing typical basketball shoes. Ironically, he's the one who created this basketball shoe with me now, which has less of a heel. The higher the heel of a basketball shoe, it just increases the size of an ankle sprain. So a shoe does not prevent an ankle sprain, but the elevated heel in basketball shoes was done for style, marketing. It doesn't have to be that high. You do need some cushion. It doesn't have to be that high, and having less of a heel just puts the physics more in your favor. So it wouldn't prevent it, but it would reduce the severity. Now, with that floss band, why is this helpful? Well, when you have a sprain, you're coming back from a sprain, it's painful. It's hard to get going on it. So this does two things. One is it pins it down. So the compression helps to not be in as much pain, but that compression, it's an interesting kind of band. That compression also acts like resistance. So this is almost like your first form of strength training for an ankle. So now I've got that on there. I haven't had to do this in many years, just occasionally for a demo, but even when I do, I can feel a workout. It's gripping on there, so I like to rotate my ankle around different ways. You could go front back, you could twist it all around. Seems like rotations tend to work best though, and you would go until you're actually burning up in some of these muscles. So that's what's cool. It allows you to almost get a massage around your joint. It's easier to massage muscles, harder to massage around a joint. So the floss band allows you to get a massage around the joint while applying some resistance. So this is often really helpful to then be able to get into more of the other steps and get going. The next optional one is walking backward, ideally with some resistance with a resisted treadmill or sled. I'm thinking of push through the toes. Again, optional, but 5 minutes pushing through the toes. This can be like your second gentle lower strengthening exercise. You can even take the pressure off on a treadmill unit like this, so you can really just use whatever amount of strength you can handle pain-free. Now from there, we get into the real training. Ideally, your gym has a seated calf machine, but we're gonna look at the exact differences, how you can make both work. I want you to look at something on a seated calf machine. Notice what's moving here, and actually I'll just take the weights off to demo this. So to lift my leg, I'm lifting my leg, some of the machine weight, and you even get a little bit of your body's weight here. But now, let's compare that right here without the machine. This is easier. You see that? There's not the extra weight. So it may take more weight than you realize to actually get a challenge. Now when you're building back, this is a good thing because you can start so light. You can start as light as you need to, whereas for some people, even the machine alone is too much. So machine is more ideal for strength development, but this can be really nice for building back. So if you're going free weight, meaning this is considered free weight, I would go at least 20 reps. But if you're going machine, I would go up to 20 reps. Like if you're getting 20 on machine, maybe add some weight. If you're not getting 20 here, I think that's a bit too much for what we're trying to do. And now we would alternate that with the other side. A tib bar can give you a nice stretch in the ankle and allow you to strengthen on the other side. So these are like my meat and potatoes for building back ankle strength. You get a really nice stretch. Bar with tib bar is not the only way to do it. A kettlebell can actually work really well. Get your foot off there. You can slip in there. You may need a towel to make it more comfortable. But you can actually get a pretty nice stretch and strengthen with the kettlebell. If it's not comfortable on the top of your foot with the bar, then just wrap like a towel or something there. And this is awesome if you have access to kettlebells. This you can go one side at a time. So depending where you're at, this may be even more ideal. Long term, this may get a little more boring. You may want to just jump in 2 feet. Now the next one I'm going to describe, I've got the B-roll there, and you're doing a calf raise against the wall, hands against the wall, and you're trying to go down like towards your pinkies, up towards your big toes. So it's just a calf raise, but you're trying to get some rotation into it, and then you flip it around the other side, tib raise, you're trying to go down to the pinky, up high, down to the big toe. This can be really nice to get some strengthening, a bit different than just the basic seated calf and tib where you're in straight motion. I like to get some rotations, 10 per side. You can get a really good burn with those with just your body. And now, okay, you're building back an ankle. If you can't put much force through the ankle, we probably need to keep building upward too as you're building back. So this is a full leg day. So a reverse step up allows us, you're gonna feel a lot of the foot muscle stabilizing. You're gonna feel working that ankle mobility. Just go lower if you need to. Only work at the level that feels good. You can do this assisted. You can do it loaded. Working that, and then for good measure, flipping it around and working the other side, knee flexion. So with this, you can find anything to stand on. Knee flexion gets a bit trickier. Bridge ham curl is a great one. You could just use your couch. I love, well, I have it out of the scene, Nordic ham curl, because that's something so easy. I mean, I wheel it in here for shoots. For me, that's like the basic option. You got 0 option, bridge ham curl, basic option, Nordic ham curl, and then pro option, if you have an actual ham curl machine, that's really nice. So you'd get some back and forth on the step up and the knee flexion. And then we'd start to work on that ankle mobility, but through full range of motion. So let's look at the range here. This is super easy. Now let's look, where does this exercise get tougher? Here. And then with this exercise, working more the top. So this gives us a really nice combo to get the lower body going, get the lower body strengthening, but in a way that we're addressing through the full range of the ankle. This one, easier to go higher. So this takes less flexibility. You can assist yourself. You can add loads to it. So we've got this really nice scalable system here. And this one, I would balance out with something for the hip, which I'll show you because this actually relates a little bit to the subject here. I like to elevate my toes a bit. Let's say you're coming back from an ankle injury on this side. A lot of stuff stiffens up. Apparently with track athletes, you have a lower leg injury and then you're way more likely to have a hamstring injury. Kind of makes sense if now this is not working the way it should, things can go upward. Now to me, that's just kind of common sense. If you have a problem with the ankle, probably now have more chance of something going wrong above since the ankle's not doing its job. I think it would work this way really for the whole body, which is why my system is not rehab, it's just ability. We want common sense to improve ability. So to finish out this workout, we would pair those split squats with the full stretch, Romanian deadlift, but elevating those toes. So now here I can get a bit more stretch behind the knee, make sure I'm working through that lower leg. So I'm just trying to stretch the hamstring, but I've got some weight here. It's not that squats wouldn't be good or deadlifts wouldn't be good. My whole view on exercise is that it's all about balance. So the point is, for this program, if someone's building back and working on the ability of the ankle, odds are a squat on 2 legs might not feel quite right. But maybe here you could get into a working level that you can find that feels better and build it back. So all this together gives us a full leg day that someone could do to rebuild. I'm honestly pretty beat from doing all the portions, so hopefully I didn't miss anything. If I did, you can find it in the article. Hopefully it helps to see some of this stuff live, some longer than others. I always appreciate everyone out there who watches these videos, who uses it to help others. I'm trying to actually give everything I know. I'm trying to put out more and more and all my systems on YouTube for free because so many of you out there support me enough that I can do that. It's a really cool thing. I don't want to have to keep any secrets, play sales games, things like that. If I can just have everything I know out there for free to anyone to use, and then have a hard-working service affordably, so it's $50 a month to do this online, so you can see them all by an app made by one of my original online members trying to make it user-friendly for people. You can send in your own form videos, you can ask your own questions, we answer you under 24 hours, 7 days a week, all super experienced ATG coaches and I working on this. So that's our goal. Data, all free out there, and then have a service that for some people is worth it. Hope this helps, and if you need any of these tools, I make a lot of this stuff now, from the buddies to the mobility box to the floss bands, trying to make stuff to make it more user friendly for you. Thank you so much for supporting.